Welcome! The purpose of this video is to go through the process I use to extract the library files that we use for script programming in Sansar into a separate set of folders. The reason that you will want to do this is pretty straightforward. If you were to program in the folders, like within the Sansar directory itself, when you get an update, all those changes are going to get wiped out. All your scripts you put there won't be there anymore, and unless you've got a backup of them, yeah, it's just going to be a mess. You really need to copy the uh, uh, the example script libraries to another location. I'm going to show you the simple way I do it. I just copy the entire sensor application only because I'm a curious person and I like to see what changed between versions. But really all that matters is that you do copy the entire script library and the assemblies into its own directory. So the scripts you're creating will essentially be in their own particular spot. So let's do that. Hopefully I won't get that strange microphone thing again. I'm hoping not. Here we go. Let's first of all get a folder. I'm going to put it on my desktop only to make things easier for demo purposes. Not a great place to put it. I'm going to call it Sansar R37 demo. And there we are. And of course, there's one I created earlier. I'm going to delete that. And I'll put that down here. First step, we need a copy of what's been provided by the Sansar installer. So where is that? Where does that hide? Actually, in my machine, it could be different on yours, I store all the Sansar stuff on my D drive. In fact, in particular, I store it right. Let me get it right. I'll get it wrong. Nope. Take me a bit. All right, I store it right here. Again, wherever your Sansar installer is, you'll need to find it. If we take a quick look inside it, just for the sake of looking at it, we're going to see Sansar Client. Inside the client, you're going to see the script API folder, and here you have the assemblies folder. We definitely got to have those. Again, they're going to change from installation to installation. Good to have the documentation. You don't have to, but I consider it convenient. I want that. And of course, this is what really counts. This is where the examples are. You see the listed, the project file we're going to use. Of course, my scripts. We have the script library where all of the simple scripts and the questing scripts lived. What I do is instead of trying to like copy all of this a little bit at a time, kind of drives you nuts sometimes. It really does. Um, like I said, I normally copy the entire Sansar folder, but in this case, I am just going to say make a copy of that entire script API folder. I'm going to come into my folder over here. I'm going to open it and I'm going to say paste a copy. Don't do the shortcut. That's a big mistake people make because what you're essentially going to do is you're actually still writing your files back to the original Sansar folder. So I'm going to make sure at this point that I got everything. So let's take a look. Again, it might take a few minutes for it to actually open because it is copying all those files. Okay, we're getting there. I have my assemblies taking a minute or two. That's a lot of files to move, and I have a lot of them. Uh, there's my DLLs. That's good. Documentation looks to be in place. The examples. All right. So, how do you get everything set up? You can't just grab the file and go. There's a few steps you need to take. There's two things I need to set up we have within the examples project file for the examples that you see here. And if we open the script library, you see the project file for the script library. This is the uh, project that will contain the simple scripts and the questing scripts. We're going to need to set up a project and get it all put together so we can just run with it and go. So I'm going to start with the example script first because that's the easiest. I'm going to come to my project file, and what this will do is it's going to open my most recent copy, or my most recent version, I'm sorry, of Visual Studio. So I'm going to open that right now. And you'll see Visual Studio coming up on my screen. And I'm going to temporarily hide this over on another screen. So here's my Visual Studio. It's not really ready to go yet. There's a couple things we need to do. You need to look at the references and make sure none of these have error messages. Now, in this case, it doesn't appear that they do, but they could be pointing to the wrong assemblies. I will do this as a matter of practice every time. I'm going to come to Sansar script and Sansar discrimination, and I'm going to say remove. Yep, I'm going to remove them. And then there is an option here to add references. As you can see, I've been doing this many, many times. I'm going to go to Browse. I'm going to go not to my OneDrive, but I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to find this folder. I'm going to go to Script API. I'm going to go to these assemblies, and I'm going to select both of these and click Add. And I'm going to say OK. And now I know that when this tries to build, because the reason we want it to build is so it can do error checking for us. It can't execute them, but it can build them and compile them so that it can do some checking to make sure we didn't make some simple mistakes. All right, so at this point, this project is pointing to the two correct assemblies, DLLs, and that means that this should be buildable. So just to make sure that I do have everything working, I'm going to go to Build here. I'm going to go to Build Solution. And we're going to see if we get any errors. And we get no errors. So that means that every one of these wonderful script files compiled here, including my script Hello World. And I can start making copies of these and start building my own scripts from here. All right, but you really want to do simple scripts too. All right, so we're going to need another project, as I said. This project only sees these files. Something else I will do is that I will close this and it will say, do you want to save the changes to the solution file? I usually say yes because it loads quicker that way. And it's actually going to store it inside of that temporary folder. So next step is to set up the simple scripts so that we can be in good edit mode for them. So I'll go back up to examples. I'm going to go into script library and I'm going to click on the script library project. And it's going to fire up Visual Studio once again. And I'm going to hide this. And I'm going to take a look at references here. You notice the two yellow arrows. It does not know where sansar.scriptdll is or the other. So you need to delete the two that you know are bad. There is a way to change it directly, but this is much easier. Believe me. So I'm going to delete these two. I'm going to remove them. I'm then going to go to references, add those references back. I'm going to say browse. Fortunately, uh, Visual Studio kind of remembers which directory you were looking for assemblies in before. So I'm looking at this, yep, Sansar R37 demo. I'm looking for these two. I'm going to click them like so, select them, click add, I'm going to say okay, and I see that they're okay. So again, what I said before was let's make sure it builds. We're really not done, but I'm going to show you how to fix it in a minute. Don't worry. Let's go to build. I'm going to go to build solution. And you're going to see it blew up all over the place. And there's actually kind of a reason for that. Because, yeah, everything's in the wrong spot. Something really bad happened there. Something else we have to do. The problem is that we're using the wrong version of the .NET framework. Um, Maybe something the Sansar folks can fix later on down the road, but I have found I had to do this every single time. I'm going to go up to script library. This is the project file. And I'm going to go to properties. And inside of the properties, you're going to see that this is using the .NET 4 framework. Again, .NET comes out with updates all the time and has many frameworks. So we see some older frameworks here. We see some newer frameworks here. Well, the framework that's being used by Sansar is .NET Framework 7.2. So I need to tell this project, hey, when you're looking in these DLLs and all of this stuff, we want to use .NET Frameworks 4.7.2. So I'm going to say yes so that it retargets the appropriate framework. And now I'm going to go into my build. And you will see everything is all happy. So what that means at this point is in this scene, I've got all of my scene scripts. I've got my quest scripts sitting here. You see the JSON files that you would be actually using to upload this quest set of activities. Let's say you modified every one of these quests, added an extra parameter, or did some kind of scripting task, and you wanted to have your own quest library. You could do that building off of the library that Sansar provided you. Again, same thing here. We could modify a couple of these, all of them, some of them, and of course it lists every one of them that it's going to compile. And we would upload this as a new script library to replace, we would, we, it would be additional to the one that Sansar puts in, and they would be available to our scripts. Again, so again, the easiest thing is to use this script library.json to update that, because that way you can provide one script that might have multiple scripts in it, just like we have in Sansar right now. All right, I want to do one other thing, and I'm going to do that in another video. This one's already way too long. But now that I have these two, I'm going to do another video later that demonstrates how I would take something you can do in the Sansar API and embed it around this simple script framework very quickly and very easily. But that's for another day. This library, both of these projects are ready to be used to create your own library scripts here, quest scripts here, and if you were to fire up the other project, I often have both of them open, example scripts. You're ready to program. And again, you could use these JSON files, or you can compile these individually. I could take this light CSS and make a change to it. I would rebuild it and then find out if, make sure I didn't make a mistake that the compiler can detect, that the build can detect, and I would be ready to test it by uploading it to Sansar. So there we go. And that again is another video, how to upload scripts to Sansar. I think since I'm doing this, I will do that. But the next thing I want to do is show how to create a simple script. And that'll be the next video when I have more ambition. Here we go. Have a good day. Hope that was helpful. You'll probably have to play this on slow to see everything that was done. But I just do this. This is my automatic process. Again, I'm going to close it, let it save my solution library because that allows this project to open much, much quicker when I'm ready to go. And again, now I go into my where I'm doing my current editing, and yeah, it's still taking a few minutes. And I can fire up these projects really quickly. So there you have it. And you're now ready to edit. I do this with each update, and I will put those updated script files in their own folder. Now, one thing I will point out before I close, some people replace the current folder they're editing with another one. Again, you don't want to smash the files you edited. Sometimes you may need to uh, re-edit a script with an older version of these folders. Remember, Sansar guarantees or tries as best they can to guarantee that our older scripts will still run. So I keep them around. That way, I don't have to keep, if I created data store example 2 or follow the avatar, I don't have to keep moving these things around. I just keep track of which revision I put the script in. And if I do need to upgrade it because we got a new release of Sansar and I'm using a new feature, I will not delete this one. I'll make a copy of this one and put it in the new release setup. And that way I still have the old one and I still have the new one. Good practice, a good best practice. Too often I've heard people say, I don't have the original anymore. How am I going to recompile this? Well, if you're a programmer, that's on you. I'm sorry. You know, we have to keep track of our versions. So, hope this was helpful. Any questions? Feel free to ask. I do this with each release of Sansar. Have a good day.